Episode 6 of AdLabs is live, and it's all about the million-dollar question. How much should you spend on advertising? I'm breaking it down for solo entrepreneurs, SMEs, and big brands with real numbers, platform breakdowns, and creative format tips. We are not just talking theory. You will leave this episode knowing exactly how to set your advertisement budget and where to put every cent for maximum impact. If you're tired of guessing and you're ready to advertise with precision, hit play on episode 6 now, and let's get your marketing spend working as hard as you do. Well, welcome back to AdLabs, the podcast where we decode timeless marketing wisdom and put it into actionable strategies for today's digital world. Every episode, we dive deep into iconic advertising lessons, dissect them, and give you the modern playbook to put them into action. So whether you're a solo entrepreneur, the founder of an SME, or you're leading a global brand, this is the podcast for you. My name is Vera Phoebe from VP Creations. Let's get started. What if I told you there's a scientific way to know exactly how much you should spend on advertising without throwing money into the wind? Today we are diving into a classic Ogilvy and Mather approach that uses data, market share, and profit modeling to figure out your ad budget sweet spot. And yes, I'll break it down for solo entrepreneurs, SME, and big businesses so you know exactly how to play the game. In today's episode, we are answering a very important question in every business owner's mind, not only just marketers. How much should you spend on advertising? At Ogilvy and Mather can often answer this question through the use of their new analytical tool at that time. For the last year, Ogilvy and Mather has been using a technique that reveals the relationship between advertising expenditure, market share, and profit. These techniques make use of mathematical model developed by Henry Corporation, an independent group of marketing consultants. Ogilvy and Mather is the only advertising agency with rights to use it. Its validity has been demonstrated with many products in many categories of consumer goods. The information needed for the model is available from current files of most advertisers. No need for extensive market tests or elaborate market research. Results can be obtained quickly and inexpensively. The technique is new. Some of our clients are using it in planning their advertising budgets. Others are testing it in the marketplace. Still others are considering how to apply it in their particular problems or how to best translate what tells them into marketing action. We believe it's an important tool for guiding strategic planning. It forces objective thinking. The varying uses of the theory are reflected in the examples that follow. We put them forward to indicate how this new tool might help to clarify your own thinking about questions such as: what is the optimum spending level for your product? Analysis for one of our clients showed that he could cut advertising by $3 million with little decline in share of the market but a significant increase in profit. A similar analysis for another client showed that he could double his already large advertising budget if he wished to achieve optimum profit. If you manufacture a product with a small share of market, you may choose to sacrifice some profit in order to increase profit on cost to maintain distribution. This analysis will indicate how much advertising should be used. On the other hand, if your product enjoys a high share of the market, you may wish to sacrifice some profit in order to sustain this high share for competitive reasons. Again, our analysis will suggest the best apportionment of advertising cost among products. So a little bit of context. At this time, Ogilvy was trying to answer the question in many businesses' minds. So how much should we actually spend on advertising? And so they were attempting to they made this mathematical model based on their times. At that time, they were trying to look at the market share in order to find out what was the sweet spot of advertising. So let's go through the article and try and really understand how this mathematical model actually works. So the next question this mathematical model answers is: what are your marketing strengths in terms of advertising, consumer sales effort, or distribution? We can measure the relative effectiveness of your advertising against consumer sales effort and distribution. And this approach is also very important for marketing managers right now. If you're trying to figure out the strength of advertising in terms of consumer sales and effort or distribution, you just have to look at the data and interpret interpret how much has been sold for the past 3 years to understand that. The next question is how much of your share of market is due to advertising. For a more important product, advertising may be responsible for as much as 16% of your share market. For a smaller product, the figure would be doubtful. For example, suppose your market share is 10% and advertising is found to be 60% effective, but only 6% in the absence of advertising. If the advertising were discontinued, the share will decline to 4% and some profit will be lost. We can measure the contribution of advertising in each of your markets and then gain or loss you would make by changing the budget. The next question the model attempted to answer was, how can you best allocate your advertising budget among the various areas of your market? As one of our clients was marketing a number of brands, we found out that he could reallocate his budget to shift from Form 3 instead of Form 1. He could increase profits without affecting his total market. And the last question is how big an advertising budget is to maintain market share. By using this technique, we can measure how you would have to spend to maintain your market, to maintain your share of the market against the competition. Let's go to the interpretation, because the marketing, the mathematical model is very complex, but this is what I attempted to interpret for it when it comes to solo entrepreneurs, SMEs, and macro businesses. Ogilvy's article answers a timeless question. How much should I spend on advertising? By tying spend to market share, profitability, and competitive positioning. Here's how to apply that thinking in today's world. Solo entrepreneurs, their budget is limited, focused, and focused reach. The platform that I can really advocate for solo entrepreneurs are things like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Google Search for local targeting. The ad formats that they should look into is short form, video ads, reels, TikTok, static carousels, and boosted posts. The budget guidance can start with 5 to 10% of monthly revenue. For example, if you make $3,000 a month, that is 300,000 in Kenyan shillings approximately. So you can spend between $150 to $300 in ads. Scale only if you see a profitable return on ad spend, what we normally call ROAS. The goal is to drive targeted awareness and direct conversions. It's important to test low-cost creatives, measure daily, and kill underperformance very much quickly. So if you're a solo entrepreneur and you're wondering how much should I allocate for my marketing budget without the the complex mathematical formulas, just take 5 to 10% of your monthly revenue. For small and medium enterprises, SMEs, the budget should be growth focused and multi-channel. So you can look at platforms like Meta Ads, Google Search and Display, LinkedIn B2B, YouTube for awareness. The ad formats should be a mix of short videos, carousel ads, and search ads with clear intent targeting. For budget guidance, it should be between 8 to 15% of gross revenue. For example, if $100,000 revenue is made per month, therefore your ad spend should be $8,000 to $15,000 ad spend. The goal is to capture demand, build retargeting pools, strengthen market share in your niche. Tip is to dedicate between 20 to 30% of budget to testing new creatives and platforms monthly. And lastly, for macro businesses, which are large market share players, budget, market dominance, and brand equity. So the platforms is omni-channel like TV, OTT, Netflix, Hulu ads, YouTube, Meta, Google, TikTok, and out-of-home ads. This for large market share. The ad formats could be high production TVCs, brand storytelling campaigns, interactive web ads, and experiential activations. The budget guidance is between 5 to 8% of total annual revenue, with flexibility to double spend in competitive seasons and launches. The goal is to defend, share, expand category, influence, and keep competitors boxed out. It is important to use advanced analytics to attribute spend across channel, invest in high ROI, creative assets, and media buying efficiency. how it influences the advertising, keyword advertising, not marketing, but you can then use that as marketing budget. So the first two smaller ones, they looked at the monthly revenue. So every month there is a budget to it based on how much has been received based on revenue. So if this month you are able to achieve 100,000 in revenue, then you do 5 to 10%. Preceding month, if you are able to do 400,000, then you do 5 or 10. So for the budget, it might shift, but that is like a good guidance for that. So at the beginning of the month, this is the budget that we have. This is what we are continuing with. For small and medium scale, for now, bigger businesses, they look at the annual revenue. So if the company has brought in maybe 60 million, so 5 to 15% of it should be attributed to marketing activities and advertising activities, because what you're trying to do is bigger than just a medium scale business. You're trying to defend your market share. You're trying to keep your competitors boxed out. So your marketing strategy is definitely changed and more serious, with more seriousness when it comes to data analytics as well. And so there you have it. Whether you're hustling as a solo entrepreneur, scaling as an SME, or leading a big brand empire, your advertisement budget should be a calculated investment and not a blind guess. Ogilvy has taught us that the smartest advertisers let data guide their spend, and in today's market, that means tracking every dollar, every shilling, in every click, every conversion. Remember that the right ad spend isn't about spending more, it is about spending smart. Until next time, keep testing, keep optimizing, and keep creating ads that work. My name is Vera Phoebe, founder of VP Creations. Until next time, bye. Your advertisement budget should be a calculated investment and not a blind guess. Ogilvy has taught us that the smartest advertisers let data guide their spend, and in today's market, that means tracking every dollar, every shilling, in every click, every conversion. Remember that the right ad spend isn't about spending more, it is about spending smart. Until next time, keep testing, keep optimizing, and keep creating ads that work. My name is Vera Phoebe, founder of VP Creations. Until next time, bye.